In this video, we are going to learn how to convert your normal curves into standard normal curves, and in particular, how to convert a raw score into standardized z-score. Below is a graph of a normal distribution with mean mu of 2 and standard deviation of 3. So I have a normal curve, I have mean at 2 and standard deviation of 3, which means 3 units this way, 3 units that way. You overcome one standard deviation. The shaded region represents the probability of obtaining a value from this distribution that is less than -1. So I find -1 and I shade everything to the left of it. Shade the corresponding region under the standard normal density curve below. So what it means is I need to find the corresponding z-score to the x value provided. I hope you remember that to compute z-score for any x value, you need to take a difference between x and mu and divide that difference by the sigma. In our case, it means -1 minus mu of 2 divided by sigma of 3. That results in -3/3 or -1. It means that on a standard normal curve, the corresponding location also going to be -1. But notice your curve is slightly modified because you are standardizing it, and your sigma is no longer 3. Sigma for any standard normal curve will be 1, and it will be centered at 0. So the curve slightly changes, but it still preserves its bell-shaped format. And since I still look for anything that is less than this value, I am shading everything to the left of this -1. Here's another example. This time we have two raw scores. One of them is -13, another one is -7, and we shade the area between these two values. We have a mean at -5 and standard deviation of +4. We would like to find a corresponding region under the standard normal curve. To do this, I need to find location on the z-score scale for these 2 points. To do that, I have to compute z-scores for each one individually. So z-score for the first raw score of -13 will be -13 minus mean of -5 and dividing by standard deviation of 4. That gives me eventually -2 after simplification. And second z-score is -7 minus -5 divided by 4, which gives me eventually -1/2. So I need to find these two locations on the axis that represents now z-scale. Please notice again, any standard normal curve always is centered at 0, and standard deviation is now 1. I need to find -1/2 and 2. -1/2 is right here, -2 is right here. So I'm looking for the interval between these two values. Therefore, I'm shading this region right here between these two values.